At any given time, a company has three directional strategies to choose from: growth, stability, or retrenchment. And many companies, especially small businesses, choose stability for as long as they could. But in this course, we are going to explain why in most cases companies should be pursuing growth. And we are going to explore the many different ways a retail company can achieve growth, including many different ways a company could grow without opening new store locations. In particular, we are going to cover how a company could grow through market development, product assortment expansion, and business model innovation. So let's get started. Just like products, companies too have a life cycle with different stages. It starts with stage 1, which is the birth of the organization. At this stage, the company is just starting out, trying to gain customers and prove the concept of the business. It's at this stage also that after a while the company gets to know if the business is viable and sustainable or not. If it starts getting enough customers and sales are becoming more or less predictable, and financials are looking healthy enough, the founder or entrepreneur here has two options: to grow or not to grow. In fact, many small business owners choose not to expand or grow the business and follow a stability strategy that's optimized to generate just enough revenue to keep up with inflation and operate a marginal business that pays the owners and his family's expenses. This is also called a lifestyle business. Such lifestyle business also means that the owner needs to be involved in the business full-time because the business is not large enough to hire and develop a full functional structure with management and employees. Usually the case here is that the owner is responsible for doing everything and hires junior generalist employees to help him in doing the daily tasks. The business can go on like that for many years until the owner decides to retire and sell the business. We're going to discuss later why all businesses need to consider growth, even if they are lifestyle businesses, but first let's go quickly through the other stages of the organizational life cycle. At stage 2, the company has chosen to grow and is applying one of the different growth strategies. Here, the company has a proven concept and positive unit economics and cash flow, that it can use this cash and invest it back in the business or use the established borrowing power of the company to finance its growth. For many owners, this is considered to be both risky, because they have to invest or borrow, and also uncomfortable, because they have to manage a larger team, and some people don't have the courage to delegate tasks or the required leadership skills to manage large teams. And so founders who choose growth need to get comfortable with it and also need to know how to get out of the way of their own company's growth so that they don't form a bottleneck in the process. So the main two problems at growth stage are delegation from the owner and cash to finance expansion. This is also when the company will start to follow a functional structure with specialist employees under each function. So it needs to get competent at attracting, managing, and developing talents. At stage 3, the company has reached its maturity. This is when revenue starts to level off and sales plateau at a certain level for some time. This is also where many companies get complacent, thinking that they will never decline until something happens in the industry or shifts happen in the economy or even the business model itself, and the company enters a decline stage. Many companies, when they see the plateau and they realize that there is no more room for growth within the same business or the industry itself, they start to follow diversification strategies, whether a concentric diversification or conglomerate diversification. Successful companies can prolong this stage for as much as they can, or might even be able to restart growth again by constantly adapting to the changing environment around them and finding ways to stay relevant. This is done through a planned and consistent strategic management process that keeps scanning the environment, looking for opportunities and threats, and formulating strategies to respond to them. At stage 4, the company is declining. It's losing market share or has been disrupted altogether by a new player, and it's time for applying a suitable retrenchment strategy that might either turn the company around and extend its life cycle or end by liquidation or bankruptcy, which is stage 5, and that is death. As we have seen here, at any given stage in the company's life cycle, the company needs to choose one of the 3 directional strategies. These are growth, stability, or retrenchment. In the next lesson, we are going to discuss why companies need to consider growth whenever it's a viable option. Growth strategies are the most widely pursued directional strategies, and that's for many reasons. When the company grows, it starts to have a high bargaining power, which allows it to get favorable prices and terms, which further increases its profitability. This does not only apply to dealing with product suppliers, but even with landlords and other service vendors. Good talent want to work for big successful companies that are growing, because it gives them the opportunity to grow themselves with it. When the company grows, fixed costs such as cost of warehousing and common office functions such as management, marketing, and HR can be divided over more stores, making each store on its own more profitable. One of the reasons that we split the P&L statement into store-level profit and then add the common expenses and then calculate the final net profit is that a store can be showing net loss, but at store level, it is profitable. Such store, when the business expands and the common costs get divided over more stores, could have a net profit at the end. Besides that, as we said in point 1, when the business is large, it has a high bargaining power, and so the cost of products will also benefit from economies of scale and gross margin will be higher. While following a stability strategy will usually adjust sales and cost to inflation, so the business would need to grow just to match inflation, sometimes, like what we are experiencing now in 2022, inflation could get out of hand, and a business that won't be able to raise prices high enough will soon become unprofitable due to rising costs. If the business had been growing and achieved saving through economies of scale, as we mentioned, it can survive such a rise in inflation, and it would have a wider margin as a cushion and a power to pass expenses back to suppliers. This is what Walmart has done recently. Because Walmart follows a cost leadership strategy, it depends on offering low prices. So when inflation was rising too high too fast, it didn't pass all the costs to the consumers, and instead used its power with the suppliers and made them absorb some of the costs themselves. A main reason to grow is to protect your market share. If competition is growing and you're not, and the industry itself started stagnating, it means that at some point they will be eating at your market share, as this is the only way they can grow. If you get too comfortable with the status quo because it's profitable, this profit might get eroded over time and taken by the competition. In this case, pursuing growth is actually the main way to defend your business. Even if your end goal as a business owner is to eventually sell your business, you will be able to sell it at a much higher value if you have grown the business to higher levels of sales and profits. Because company valuations are based mainly on multiples of revenue and profit. In a previous course on strategic management, we explored the different growth strategies. We said that growth strategies are divided into concentration and diversification. Concentration strategies are then divided into vertical growth, which includes forward integration, and backward integration. And we have seen examples of that. And horizontal growth, which is growth through expansion of the geography where the company operates, or expanding the range of products offered to the same market. Diversification strategy includes concentric diversification, which is diversifying into a related industry, or conglomerate diversification, which is diversifying into unrelated industry. For example, if a company in retail goes and opens a hotel business, this is conglomerate diversification. A company's first focus should always be on growing the existing business before considering other growth options into unrelated businesses or industries. Ansoff has designed a framework to identify growth opportunities called the Product Market Expansion Grid. According to this framework, a company can grow its market share using existing products within the current market it operates in. This is called market penetration. For example, when Starbucks started, it identified an unmet need for cafes serving gourmet coffee directly to consumer, and it delivered that by opening its first stores in Seattle, and this became its market penetration. The company can then take the existing products and business model and expand into new markets, and this is called market development. This is what Starbucks has done when it started expanding its store portfolio first in the US and then internationally. A company can then explore opportunities for new products that it can serve in its existing market. This is called product development. In retail, this is done by expanding the product assortment. And this is what Starbucks has done by adding new products and merchandise at its stores. Finally, a company can develop new products for new markets, and this is called diversification. That's what Starbucks has done when it created new product lines that are to be served at grocery stores. In this course, we are going to focus on market development and product development opportunities. Then we are going to explore other sources of growth that mainly depend on exploring alternative business models or even creating a new business model altogether.